Creativity with sales is a deadly combination. Any entrepreneur needs to understand, first of all, there are three things that you need to work on. One,
So when did you start Plan B?
in 2005, I was my own driver, my own accountant, my own salesperson. So everything was
One-man company. What was the inspiration behind his name? Plan B.
If it would have been Plan A, you would have never asked me.
Okay.
So it's a conversation breaker.
From humble beginnings in New Delhi to the skyline of Dubai, Dr. Harmeek Singh transformed a modest dream into the Plan B Group, a global force in marketing and events, leading with humility, honesty, and relentless hard work.
Businesses don't work on one-night stands. You need to have long-term relationships. You need to have something that needs to multiply. My biggest part is that we try to actually not compete. We collaborate. AP Dillon, he came, his first event over here. In 2016, I called him. The first event in Dubai was done by me. Then he was not very well known. So I had to pay from my pocket. But that's where probably, you need to understand the value.
But the question is that will live events die or would they grow from here more? When you see a grand event, the lights, the music, the artist, the massive stages, it's easy to get lost in the glamour. But what most people don't see is the business behind it. An industry that today is worth $14 billion and is rapidly growing to $30 billion by 2030. And behind every memorable event, there are sleepless nights, there is risk, there is pressure, and there is a responsibility of delivering a moment that thousands of people will remember for a lifetime. Today, we are going to go behind the scenes of this fascinating world. We'll talk about how this business is really built, how events are marketed, how venues are selected, how celebrities are contracted, how crowds are managed, and most importantly, how memorable experiences are transformed into loyal communities. My guest today is someone who has spent over 3 decades in this industry, executing some of Dubai's finest event experiences. He's the founder of Plan B, one of the region's most respected event management companies, a brand that has delivered some of the truly iconic events, from large-scale award shows to high-profile private performances, from hosting Bollywood award events to conceptualizing major sports shows. His team has delivered 1,000 projects across this region that includes India, UAE, Saudi, Singapore, and even London. This is a conversation about building under pressure, creating unforgettable memories, and staying relevant for 30 years in one of the toughest industries in this business. So if you're an entrepreneur, a business leader, or someone who's dreaming to build an events company, this episode may feel like a masterclass. So let's welcome Harmeek Singh, the founder of Plan B. Hey Harmeek, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing very well.
So I wanted to know a little deeper in your industry, because we always see events as a very glamorous industry, but not everyone knows about the backstage, the tiredness, the sleepless night, the pressure that you go through, and even the expectations of the people that award you the event, the result that really matters in that event. When did you actually think that you were made for this industry? If you want to get back, so the podcast today is for young entrepreneurs who are planning to start an events company. We find that there's massive space in this industry. We find there is lack of brands. Even though the industry looks big, I think there's missing structure, because it's all about me contacting an event planner and then event planner then finding options for me, rather than that, can we build a new age business around it? So that's where I would want your insights, that how do we take it forward? How do this industry looks for an evolution going forward? So for that reason, I would want to know the context behind how did your journey start and some background.
I'll break it into pieces so that you and the audience actually understands this. First of all, you're right. The glamour, the glitz, the lights, it's all something that people see. But what happens behind the scenes is something that people do not know about. I'll tell you, because I have been a part and parcel, like you said, it's my 3rd decade for sure. And working from an events perspective, that's something that you asked me, that how did I actually just jumped into it? No, it happened to me. So when it happens to you, you suddenly, it's kind of love at first sight or whatever that you may call.
Okay.
The spark,
Okay.
So the adrenaline rush was something that probably took me to another level. And that's something that probably I still carry. The time that probably dies, that means my part in events industry is over.
So when did you come to UAE, sir?
I came in 2003.
Okay.
And I'm formally now going to be like 2002, but then again 2003 was something that probably I started my professional career. And that's where it came down for me to probably understand. First of all, I was completely that child in the house who has studied everything, who's done everything. And then you ask him, what are you going to become? And he says, I don't know. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I was not having a clue what I need to do, but I came with a mindset of survival. I came to this part of the world with the fact that probably I had nothing to show, and I had pretty much everything that I should not go back. And that's where it started. That survival gets you into places what you would not understand. And it's the kind of thing, the mind over matter. We have heard about it, but how many times we actually feel it is something that happened to me. Well, at a point where probably I jumped into it, it went into from a printing perspective. There's a printing company that I joined.
Okay.
For a salary of 2,750 dirhams.
Okay.
And it was for me as a learning curve. And learning means that probably I had to understand that what this is all about. It was completely new business. I only brought one thing on the table. And I've said that many times, millions of times, that I brought in sales. I brought in that I'm a people's person. I can talk and I'm convincing enough. If I know the product, I can sell it. And
so you headed the sales department?
No, I did not head. I was at the lowest part of the sales department.
Okay.
So, but learning was something, because that does not go away. You have to learn, and learning came with the fact of survival. You need to probably look at it from a perspective. Agar you cannot do this, if you can't do this, then you have to go back. You know, that fear drives you. And I had
Karna hai ya marna hai.
I had my daughter, my son was about to be born, and I had to make it a point that I am doing this. I can fail, but I cannot be a failed father. So that was my driving force. And that's passion, you know. It's the same things that probably you might see in different ways people perform. People do things. An athlete who runs 8.7 seconds for 100 meters, when it comes down to running for a country, for their country, the passion that drives them, they break the world record, which they've never done in their life. So it's that kind of, you know, passion that drives you. So I am all about passion.
Passion pumped with pressure.
Passion pumped with pressure. Pressure, if it takes the center stage, then you're going to fail. Pressure that has positively been created for you to be pushed. That's important. There's difference between pressure as well. Even fire, you know, fire can burn this. But then in fire, that probably can cook as well. So it needs to be constructed.
So you started in a printing company, yeah?
I started in a printing.
And what was your background in studies?
I am an English literature graduate.
Oh.
And then I have been like following, I was a poet.
Okay.
So that's why I've got a little bit of a gift.
So there was a creative mind.
There was a creative. That's definitely an instinct that I brought in. Creativity with sales.
Okay.
Is a deadly combination.
Correct.
So that's where it started. I started with the printing part. 10 months down the line, salary's not been paid, commission's not been paid. And I had my family that I had to feed. I had my daughter that had to join a school as well. So I put my hands up and I resigned. And that's it, where probably it also gave me a good push. At times, not everything happens that probably is looking very bad for you is actually destroying you. So I resigned. I was put under a 6 months ban. That period, they had a 6 months ban over here. I'm sure that you must know.
Yeah.
But fortunately enough, 2 months down the line, I was back. And I was back in a free zone company, Media City, a British company. And it was something that was given to me. It's a very fair deal. So
and what was that role?
My role was to manage they were a media company. So they had mall activations, and they required a person who would manage their printing, because they were my clients actually. So they saw that what potential I had. I used to work 16 hours before. If I said that it has to happen, I will not go home till it is done. So it started with that, 6,500 the salary. I was happy. Family came. My daughter went to school, started the school. But it was something that was growing on from one sector to the other. Then came events, like a part of it as well. So there was the first.
So this company used to do events as well?
This company had a subsidiary.
Okay.
Taking care, and they were partnered up for the Dubai Marathon. 2004 was my first Dubai Marathon. There's nothing that you would even consider the January that it used to be then. Very windy and very cold.
Okay.
So that was my first kind of a partnered event, and a couple of others that followed with that. But then again, that gave me a little bit of a stride. But that's not.
So when did you start Plan B?
In 2005.
In
So
2005.
I worked with them for 10 months as well.
Okay.
So 10 months.
That's where you gained your experience or your internship, I could say.
No, that's where probably my previous company, what I got them as a best salesperson that I would, and I would call that because yes, I was. So I had all my targets been met, everything that was done. Having no one that I knew, I started making my network, and that was what I got with myself. So the next company that I went into, they were not doing the printing part, but then again, the companies that I had brought in over there, they started breaking, they started calling me, and it was the same situation that the service levels dropped. And it was something that was making things difficult. And there was a gap in the market at that point. So they reached out to me, and I asked my employer very politely, and I asked him, this is what is happening. What do you want me to do? Should I turn the business out, or do you want to be a part of it? I can bring it to you. He said, no, we are happy with what we're doing. This is a Monday to Thursday at that point. Yeah. Then again,
Then Friday was an off, yeah.
Friday was an off. Friday was a half day or whatever that was. At that point, it was something that they say, whatever that you do, it's not something that probably it should affect our work. We're okay if you want to work for yourself.
Okay.
That was, I still thank
That
them for
was a blessing.
So 10 months down the line, I was working 10 to 5. And then I was working for myself till 2, 3, whatever time. And I had all the business coming around. I became an agent actually, like a real estate agent now. So I got the business and had a couple of companies that I was getting it through, but I was project managing everything. And 4 months, 5 months down the line, money was coming in, 200,000, 250,000, 300,000 a month. That gave me a little bit of a pinch that now I can't sail in two boats. So I went to my employer, very politely told him that this is what it is. And he blessed me and he congratulated me, and Plan B happened. And with that, printing became the next step was production. Production then had events management, then came strategy, then came marketing, then came technology. So it all started to make sense with steps. It's like a video game, when you play one
When
step,
you started connecting the dot looking backwards.
and it was, it's not easy as well. When you do, it's not that, okay, I do this, I will do this as well. First, you need to master it. When you master one trait, and then you are trying to do the second one, you need to probably have that combination where you can master that too. And you don't have to actually wait for another 2 years, 3 years, because it's automatically going to happen, because you're dealing with events companies, you're dealing with production houses, already have the knowledge and everything else that came together. So, and I started working on mushrooming out on that. I was initially traveling light, like you are talking now, I was doing then. So I was my own driver, my own accountant, my own salesperson. So everything was a one-man army.
One-man company.
And that's where probably I gauged that it was growing and I wanted to actually get in, but things happened for a good reason. 2008 recession came. People started to run away from here. So I had only one warehouse then, and I took the whole complex.
Okay.
Prices fell down. It was 250, 300,000 dirhams per warehouse.
Okay.
Fell down to 80,000. And I took all of them because I was traveling light and I had business.
That's in DIP, yeah?
No, not in DIP. This was in Al Quoz. I started over there.
Okay.
And then it started to look that probably people who did not have money.
Why did you put the company name Plan B? What was the inspiration behind his name? Plan B.
3 reasons.
Okay.
Then again, I'll give you the first one. The name Plan B. If it would have been Plan A, you would have never asked me.
Okay.
So it's a conversation breaker.
Okay.
It's something again from the creative side that I did. And trust me, you can go back on time as well. My company was formed before Brad Pitt's.
Okay.
So maybe he followed me.
Okay.
So Plan B was something that attracted me. And at a time when recession happened and everybody else, the best part, and I'm talking quote unquote, from a marketing team, all South Africans sitting in EMR offices, 2008. And it was just before recession that it was going on. Dubai Mall was supposed to open. And there was things that probably getting delayed and everything else. And they were all talking. And then, I don't want to name the gentleman, but then again, he stood up and he said, nobody's got a Plan B. And then somebody said, I know a company Plan B.
Wow.
So we worked with them. We opened partially a lot of work that came to us for opening up Dubai Mall and everything else. So it has, name has been attracted by the fact that probably for a key coin reason, it's a conversation breaker. And then at the time when disaster is happening, everybody needs to have a Plan B. The real reason was that I actually worked, when I was working in India, I was a spoiled brat, and I burnt my dad's money. And then he asked me that, now what? What's your Plan B? So till date, I tell him, this is my plan B.
House of options.
House of options.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, that's it. And I started growing at the period where people thought that it's negative. I think there's always going to be an opportunity in adversity. I found that going through a stride, and the rest, everything has been like toughening yourself up.
How did you manage to secure your first client?
That's the art, because if you're not able to manage your first client, then you are a disaster yourself. Businesses, entrepreneurs especially, and I'm telling you, businesses don't work on one-night stands. You need to have long-term relationships. If you don't have long-term relationships, you would be always looking out, take your fishing net and go and fish every day. You need to have something that needs to multiply. Your one client needs to retain. That one client with good service levels, and the way that probably you're treating, that you are showing them the dollar is stretched. If you've been given a project for $100, you need to show them that you've given 150 back. They will get you 5 more. And that's where the pyramids start to become bigger. So I think technology has come in.
No, but still, like, I'm just thinking that this young lad who's come 20 years back and he's now come and saying that, okay, I'm working somewhere, but I'm here coming to manage your event. I don't have a company. How was that trust transformed? And how did you able to convince the opposite company or maybe your client that, even though I don't have the license or all the ammunition, I'm a single guy, but yet I have the passion, I have the plan, and I have the outcome that you're really looking for. Is everything there in my briefcase?
First of all, I'd like to correct you. I'm still young.
Yeah.
So the fact, it's a given fact. Trust and your kind of integrity that you bring in, it's not on the shelf. You have to create. Your value addition is about that. When you are doing it regularly, you're building yourself up. Your credibility is the biggest thing that you carry. It's not the bank account.
Correct.
It's not the bank balance. It's not the kind of brands that you're working with. It's your credibility. And the credibility was based on the fact my knowledge was getting bigger and brighter because I was on the ground. And I'm working on the ground. When there are things that you deliver, then if I'm giving you, so like you're happy with a coffee that I'm giving you, next I'm telling you I bake cookies as well. You can take the cookies from me as well, right? So builds that network of trust, and credibility transfers that.
No, also what helped you was your sales experience. I think that's where also that was complementing your new start, because that's where you became that people's man. You understood, about what were people looking for. And you already had one vertical of the business already there as a part of your experience. And second one is something that you're looking for to expand. I think that was one of the parts.
That's exactly what I just mentioned right now. If you have done something good, if that client is requiring to have other verticals that they're working with, and if I tell them I can do this for you as well, so they will definitely give me a shot on that. Not that probably they're going to be blindfolded on that. Oh, you're good with that, but I don't know about this. So you still have to work. Consistency and deliverables is always going to be important.
So in 2005, then you started the Plan B. And
2004 we initiated. Legally, we were formed in 2005.
2005, and you started as a marketing and event management company, right?
I started with the printing house, and I started with the production house. These two things. We were working for the events companies and exhibition companies. We learned from that. Then we moved to the next level. When everything fell down, then 2008 was a period that probably everybody was closing down, leaving their cars and their dogs over here and flying out. We were making our business then.
So if someone wants to enter, see, because this podcast is all for, young entrepreneurs that want to enter this industry. And we find this industry is growing industry because, the world is full of, or there's a lot of noise on the digital content side. And there is less exclusivity there. And live events are going to be very exclusive. So we always find that live events are always going to be very personal when it comes to experience, because now, there's so much of noise on the digital experience. So you get sometimes bored. But when then there's an event happening, you just want to go and attend it because that's where that personal experience or, that memory is actually retained. And that's where you again further share it or digitally.
So I think for the last 3 decades, when we talk about getting yourself aligned, lots and lots have changed. It's not the same market anymore. If you don't evolve, like if I would have actually just been doing the things that I was doing in 2005, 2006, 2007, I would have been like the species of dinosaur right now.
Correct.
Adaptability is important. any entrepreneur needs to understand, first of all, there are three things that you need to work on. One, that when you're getting into the market, you need to, first of all, you need to have some kind of due diligence, your research, and your knowledge. These three things is the first element that you need to have. It's not about just putting out that I want to have an events company on ChatGPT and you'll get them. It's not.
Hmm.
So you need to have that.
So these are the prerequisites.
Prerequisites.
Apart from that, what other prerequisites are required from the creative side?
Creative side, if you cannot have yourself been creatively pumped, and not everybody gets into that.
Is not
creative side.
creatively blessed, you know.
So you need to hire somebody who's creative. So you need to look at it that probably you are giving out something that is not half-hearted. You're giving a good breakfast in the morning. You got a good egg sunny side up, but the bread, the toast is burnt. Not good. So you need to look at it that probably where do I get that source to fill that gap in? It's important. Second is that probably when you are working for events, when you're getting into events, I'm talking generally as well.
Correct.
You do not need to go and do things. If you want to be wee bit successful, you need to have the art of having the knowledge, what is a gap in the market. If everybody is doing the same thing, you do the same thing, you are going to take ages to actually reach to those places. If you take a detour and somebody else has not been doing, or you find out that probably, okay, if this kind of a experience that I can provide at a point and I'm focused on this one, I am not committing myself to be a kind of a competition to anyone. I'm collaborating with people. When you get collaborative, then you get your more steps to be taken, and you do not then add on, you multiply, because something that nobody else has got in the events industry. I remember a very dear friend of mine, I'm not again going to name, but then again, she started with like ancient times. She started with photo booths.
Okay.
She focused on that.
Okay.
She's number one right now. So it was about that people want to have an experience. People want to have something tangible they can hold on to. Earlier it was prints, then it became digital, then became filters, then became... So it's an evolution, you know. So the thing is that you need to have that gap in the market for sure. And the third most important thing, you need to have a mindset. And this age that I am in right now, I've seen before mobiles, I've seen technology, I've seen AI. Adaptability comes naturally to me. But the fact is, the fragility that is brought in with all the kind of means that's available right now, youngsters, youth, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, who's going to be probably coming next, we need to understand that we lose our focus very easily. One small fall.
The attention span, what you're saying.
One small fall, the mind gets negative, it's not going to work. So that part where probably you need to understand that fall is a lesson for you. You need to get up. What you did not do well, do it better. Do it better. Consistency. And that focus is many a times I see, because there's too many things available right now. There's too many things happening. So in that clutter, you get lost. When you, and again, humanly, and I'm asking you, if you fail in something, what you do, you will have either you consult your people, your friends, whatever. Some people might tell you, okay, no worries, let's try it again. Or some people might say, no, it is not worth it. You know? And the mind then becomes a little divided. For that, your mental strength has to be you. You need to know if you will be successful, your mind has to tell you. Your mind has to push you for that. But that drive has to come from within. Nobody else is going to give you on a platter. It's important. Any entrepreneur right now, you might have your father's money. You might have probably a lot of money to burn, dump. I just very fashionable. I want to do this. I want to have a creative agency. I want to do... People start good. People try to get that. But that's a facade, you know. You need to actually go deeper and actually work.
No, absolutely. I get your point, actually. But the fact is that suppose, okay, take an example. I'm coming from India. And I have a fair experience in the event space. And I have maybe some savings with me, and I want to come to Dubai, and I have some clients that look to host events in Dubai, because Dubai is again a destination of events. So it's a country where a lot of events happen. Now, my point is that sir, that if I have this small capital and I want to start a very lean structure, so like what you said, I just drew from something what you said is that what I understand is that you started a service industry, which is the event marketing, where you, of course, the production is a heavy weight from a capital standpoint.
it was huge.
Yeah,
Quality was not there.
Yeah. So, but the fact is that I will have to market the event, and then I have to manage the event. So, if I want to start like a marketing and management of event company, then where will I start from?
You forgot my part where I mentioned to you collaboration is the way that you can enter. If you got very paltry sum, you need to look at it again. I'm going back on that. What is it that probably your due diligence tells you what is the gap in the market? Money can be burnt in a day over here. You can actually get into anything, and then you get into a kind of a circle. Your money is not coming back, you've not delivered, and then you're written off completely. Your impressions, it's very difficult, very hard to make credibility right now. It's not like before, like the snowball effect. It has to be created consistently. And again, if you look at it, I was sitting with the same building, economic department,
Okay.
and a lot of places that probably I have been with the government as well. Have you seen the surge of companies? Have you seen the competition grow?
Yeah.
So if you are trying to do something, there are thousands of other people trying to do the same thing. How do you stand out?
So, what's that USP that Plan B has? Or
USP
what's that experience that you bring to the table?
My biggest part is that we try to actually not compete. We collaborate. The biggest thing that we bring in is our credibility. We have delivered. Now, when we are doing that, we go a bit up on our marking, on whatever that. Then creativity definitely helps. Having a little bit of a kind of a notion of technology being embedded, because everybody wants that right now. So we create that kind of a bespoke version. That bespoke version is based on what the client requires. If you don't do your research properly, even the client is telling you to do something, you do not know that what is the expectation for the results of this, the KPIs that have been set. People don't talk about that. People just look at it, oh, it's the budget. I'll get this from A, then I'll get this from B, then I'll get this from C. Oh, I'm saving this. That's not how it works. You can't be a trader anymore.
He tries to become a broker or something like that.
And most of the people, they do that. And for people, this becomes a kind of a lean mechanism. But you are going to be written off any day because somebody else.
Because you don't have that, your unique USP and the technical know-how of how to conduct an event and get that outcome.
Yes. And then I also would like to add on to this. The biggest kind of a shake-up that happened. I am 4 recessions, 1 pandemic old. So when pandemic came, it was a sudden death. All the events were closed, cancelled, monies that were paid. You are getting into a cycle, financial cycle. You have to pay. You are not going to get paid. All this became, insurance companies are telling, no, this is not force majeure. Like, correct, in a way. So we had to look at it from a perspective, what are we doing wrong? And at that point, everybody went into a kind of a limbo, silence.
So from 2005 to 2008, you hit the recession, technically.
No. Recession was there, but pandemic I'm talking about.
Pandemic was 2019.
Yeah, 2020.
2000, yeah, I think 19 end and 20. Yeah.
No, my events got cancelled on 6th of February.
No, I want to understand this journey, because from 2005 to 2015, this 10 years decade is going to be very crucial, because that's where I think Plan B was really built.
Yes, the base was strong.
Because that's where I remember I had contacted Jyoti about 2017 or 2016, and they were working with you were doing some of the communal events, and there was one, I think, association that you wanted to create for the Punjabis. That's where we contacted each other. And at that time, you had this massive office in DIP. I'm sure it's still there.
No, we have Bafrican, so we've diversified on that.
Okay.
Now it's getting into...
it was this big production unit.
No, production I have cut down heavily.
Okay.
Like, not because... I'll tell you, because you need to adapt, like I just mentioned. If today I'm going to be probably having a massive infrastructure on production, my rental cost, my electrical cost and everything else, I cannot compete with people who have just gotten themselves into 20 people staffing, because they will always be cheaper than me. They've got in Ajman, in Sharjah, and...
So that time it was a very capital intensive business, yeah?
It was something that how big you are is the biggest that you can become. And we mastered on that one.
Yeah.
But times change, So you have to look at it from 2020, I'm talking about, from recession as well. Let's talk about 2005 to 2015. It was about the credibility. It was about that probably we were also getting into the creative side of it. When a client, they were also not very educated that way. They were also looking at it, and once you make your client as a shining star of what you're doing, they don't want to change. They want to be in that comfort zone. That's a formula. So we made sure that everybody that probably we are working with, they get that kind of.
So, sir, in that decade, what was really client's objective? Because that's where that's going to change. Because at that moment, was client really looking for awareness of their product? What was the real reason that I'm coming to sir and saying that I want to have this event? What was the event's objective at that moment?
If I talk about lifestyle, if I talk about the FMCG products and everything else, their objectives were sales.
Okay.
Very sales driven. So
They were sales that time also.
sales driven because, and again, it is not something that our elders had told us. It's still valid. What a scene sells. So you have to be seen in the right order. Now it's a bit more focused. Seen to who? What's your target audience? What is your TG?
So it's further narrowing down, yeah?
Narrowing down. It does not change. It's not something which is a rocket science that, or maybe we used to probably eat something else now. We eat, but again, we know what we're eating as well. So it's the kind of educated version that we have now.
Okay. So that time it was like, chalo bheed ko leke aao. Lekin right now it's about making sure that wo bheed mein bhi kaun aa raha hai.
Aap unke objectives, their objectives are very clear. If I'm not hitting that mark and if my sales does not go up with this percentage,
With this event.
that's why I have now, I can look at it that probably I'm through and through, out and out, a strategist now. That becomes a little bit added.
That's the point.
Added kind of armor that I have: creative, sales, and strategy.
So it means, it means if today an entrepreneur wants to start an events company, he has to be a strategist. Uske pata hona chahiye jab ye event bana raha hai, or whenever he's actually hosting an event for a client of maybe his own event, the TG has to be met. Without that, I think the objective of the event will be defeated.
Deliverables, आपका strategy का क्या मतलब होता है? I'll explain that very clearly. Small, different layman's terminology. Strategy is about creating your route to your destination. It's like putting your destination in the Google Maps. All right? If you don't know where you have to go, you're going to be delayed. You're going to be going in a loop. If you put that in the map, you are going to know that probably I'm going to reach over here in 1 hour and 30 minutes. At least you covered. But then again, if there's anything that probably changes, you have a better route that probably you can take. You can reroute yourself. So strategy is that plan. If you don't have that plan and if you don't know how to reach to your client's expectations, you're going to be defeated because then you are just doing certain things that you don't know what the end result is going to be. If you're not in control of your end results, if at least you need to probably know what is the bare minimals that you're talking about. Don't overcommit. Never overcommit. Undercommit, overdeliver. Always. Don't put yourself into, oh no, I'll get this. And a lot of people do that. Trust me, today, when I see salespeople, I really want to actually just change the whole perspective. Salespeople is equal to a lot of things that they say, which is not true. It's not good.
Yeah, it's about just driving the conversation and taking it forward and then looping him into some scheme.
Short term. And then come up with the stories about that, because of this, because of that. And I think that is how. I was just coming to that for the 10 years it was about the deliverables that was required was sales driven. But then again, also to do was what the government was also waking up because they had plans from 2010 onwards, 5-year plans, 2015 Dubai plan, 2020 Dubai plan. Then it was the.
So you're doing a lot of events for government also, yeah?
Government is a part and parcel of us. Okay. We work very closely with when it comes down to. I've been working with the Executive Council Dubai, Executive Council Abu Dhabi. We worked on sports events with all the government bodies and everything else. So the fact is, the strategy part is always going to be important. Earlier, it was that when we started the 30 by 30, I did not start it. But then again, the objective was very clear that you have to have fitness. As a regime, we were an obese kind of a version over here. We wanted everybody to know that body fitness is a regime that has to be created. A very healthy society would always bring in healthy minds as well. So I think it was a masterstroke by the government and it started. Now, it was a rough initial phase. Now everybody looks forward for it. You see so many runs happening. You see so many fitness kind of enthusiasts, and people have got the knowledge of what they require to be fit as well. So it's a. I was a part of the smart city conversation on the round table, and it has been on the cards. Everybody's talking about what smart cities or healthy cities are, and we are talking about that. Yes, these are the things that probably are going to be seen in the future.
Correct.
There are, if you might have heard, municipalities bringing in the container gyms next to
Hmm.
the communities.
Hmm.
There are going to be like mobile gyms. There's so many things. People to be probably getting themselves into a regime, kind of a routine, kind of a thing that they would also embed and pass it to the future as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, for the next generation. So there,
So post-COVID, what changed?
everything changed.
I mean, in terms of, I mean, the event organizer's perspective, or maybe expectations from an event management company. What really actually changed?
First of all, events industry changed.
Digital, everything started becoming.
No.
No,
That's a myth.
that's
See,
a myth.
when anybody talks about that it was digital, then how is
Okay.
anything happening? So when COVID happened, I had everybody to go complete silent because nobody knew what was happening, and there was like lockdowns and everything else. And government was doing the right thing. Uh, we started to get myself into a point that I started talking to the people who thought I'm their competition.
Hmm.
I called up people like, "Hi, how are you doing?"
Hmm.
Fine. The conversation began. I said, "I don't think we should be probably sitting home. We should be looking at ourselves to talk about things."
Hmm.
He said, "Yes, but how?" I said, "Okay." And then we started ourselves to be heard, voices to be done. There was only one events platform that was representing us.
Okay.
So that one had 125 members at that point, and those 125 members was about monthly kind of meetings, whatever, wine and cheese, and that's it.
Hmm.
So I took up that version and I started speaking to people, and I went to executive council as well. I created a letter as a
Okay.
plea from events companies.
Okay.
And what I heard from people that were responsible for everything happening over here at that point, they said events is not on our agenda right now.
Hmm.
We are more about health, food, so that medical and everything else is our priority right now. Events are not going to happen. It does not change anything. And that's true as well.
That was true at that moment.
But that also brought in a lot of new things that probably people were not talking about it. So I got 300 companies to sign up with me.
Okay.
I was bigger than that organization.
Okay.
They called me. They said, like, we want you to join us. I did not have any inkling of negativity. I don't mind. I needed to erase the borders. I said, yes, why not? I was made the official crisis committee president.
Okay. And what was that?
That was to deal with the government on behalf of events companies,
Okay.
to get kind of any kind of solutions for them, how to they get afloat. So we had holiday periods for loans, we had holiday periods for rents and everything else. 2454 complied. A lot of things happened at that point. DTCM, they started taking off any
So
event.
you started becoming the voice of this event industry.
I started becoming because nobody was talking. And then people who knew me or people who did not know me, there suddenly just was a question. Who is this Indian donning a turban who's leading us? So it's a little cliche, but then again, like there's a white that needs to be,
Yeah, but there was someone
but
that
again-
needed to go and hold that flag.
yeah, and it's all something that probably at that point I had given 13 bullet points. Because now what you tell right now, when we speak about events companies, we don't have a structure.
Yeah, which I was.
We don't have a representation. And I gave them. I said, if today and I'm talking from experience, if I have a creative concept given to somebody, they change the color from blue to purple, there's no copyright on that. So that's there. Competition kills the market. Competition would always mean that probably somebody that wants to enter, they will always say, I'm going to undercut you. And then the market becomes very difficult because the margins go down, and then they don't deliver, then still the margins are still going to be like going down. Anybody who wants to get in, they will have to cut down on the cost. Then comes that probably you need to look at from a perspective that when new companies are coming or old companies are coming, if there's credibility, how do we justify that? How do we create a pool of people? Then I said there should be a rating system like bookings.com, like anything. So what you need to do is when companies are doing good, they should be having a minimum of this experience and this kind of rating for you to even get yourself registered with the government and bigger events that you can actually, and if there's a very big event, then you have from the pool that they are good in this, they're good in this, they need to create a consortium for that so that everybody gets business. It's an ecosystem. But then again, when it comes down to that, I am doing one part of it and I say I will do everything else as well. So everything else I have to source it out. And this could be probably cutting down on quality and doing whatever. A lot of things that I spoke about, and everybody was standing ovation, clapping. I had international audience from US, from UK, and like this is commendable because we require a system. There's no ministry for events. We are represented by the tourism department.
So technically, when someone comes in and, okay, let's go back again to say if I'm coming here and I want to register a license, do I need any other approvals? What are the authorities that are involved?
It depends on
One is
if
the
it is advertising, then you have to have Ministry of
No, I'm
Information.
talking about only events and management.
Events management, you don't have any specific this, but then again, if you got a specific feature that you're putting, then there is multi-government requirement. Advertisement, because there's media involved, so you have to minister.
Like if I'm coming from India and I want to do a Bollywood event and I want to host maybe some award show, what is the approval that I need?
You need to have an events license. You need
Okay.
to have permits. You need to have the kind.
What are these permits?
Permits are from the artist permit. Anybody going on stage requires a permit.
Okay.
Anything that you're doing or liaising with a venue as well, you need to have that on your trade license, that you are allowed to do that. You just can't be just in management or whatever. So you need to have that kind of a feature that probably is making you legal and legalized for that. And at that point, when you do not have things, so like you have audiovisual, you have things which you're not having, you need to have an outsourced partner contract that you hire them. There's an NDA that gets signed. So they are doing their part, but again, you are an overall on top of that. So
I have a license and then I go to the venue and I then request for a permit.
You need to probably have your permit. Before that, you need to probably have a concept.
Yeah.
That concept needs to be approved. If it's going to be public event, you
Oh.
need to have you need to have the approval, DTCM, municipality, RTA, the road closures and everything else. All of these things have to be done in the mindset that probably this event is going to happen. Like tomorrow, I've got a massive event. We're going to have around 6,000, 7,000 people in Festival City. It's a run. It's an awareness run for cancer.
Okay.
It's called Cancer Run Dubai. Last week, we did this in Abu Dhabi. We broke a world record. We have a Guinness World Record record of having the true representation of UAE. We had 71 nationalities running together for our awareness campaign for cancer.
Okay.
So we broke that. Now, the second leg is Dubai because it's a cancer week.
And in such sort of events, what's the approval that is required?
We have Dubai municipality, we have
Dubai
Dubai police, we have RTA.
The roads has to be closed and all that.
There we have DTCM, we have the mall that is there. Then we have to have sports because it's sports, so sports councils have to be a part of that as well. We get a permit for that.
So are these approvals very complex or are they?
Very simple.
Or the event management company knows the
UAE
process?
government has made everything simplified.
Yeah.
Everything simplified. So I think when you go to other places, you'll find the difference. But then again, it's easy, but you need to have all the ticks in the box.
What about hiring staff? Do I need to have everyone on my payroll or can I hire some people on freelancer?
You can hire freelancers on contract. You can have a short-term contract, but if there's something that probably you create, that's something that an event requires to be probably having few months, whatever, you can have a mission visa as well. But you can have outsourced companies to do that for you, but you have a contractual.
So I can invite even students who wants to earn part-time money.
No, you can't do that. There is bodies that you have to go through. So
Okay.
you just can't just go out, come students, I'll give you 20 dirhams. That's not how it works.
Okay.
So there are volunteers, they have their own.
The volunteers and all that.
Volunteers, they have platforms. Schools, you'll have to go through KHTA. If you know that probably schools, there was a thing passed by the government as well that students are not going to be allowed to work on as promoters and everything else because it hampers their study and everything. They lose the study and they will only be doing promoters and everything. So this very kind of a bracket.
So there are protocols that we need to go through the education system before hiring a student.
Yeah, and I can go on, and this can go for 10 hours. So I think when somebody goes in, like I said, your due diligence, your research has to be there. And nobody else is going to do that for you. You can probably Google it. You can probably have any platform, any AI can tell you. But then again, you have to go deeper, roll up your sleeves and do it yourself and you'll find out.
What's the potential for going forward in terms of the events industry?
There's huge potential. If you throw a stone, there's events happening every weekend. There are events happening every day. So there is definitely the kind of market.
What type of events are these?
It could be sports events.
Okay.
It could be events that is entertainment events. It could be educational events. It could be anything from a crypto kind of a seminar that is happening. So it has got a lot of variance because you are targeting, as I said earlier, now you're focused on your target audience.
Considering a lot of Bollywood stars are living in UAE, do you find that the Bollywood events are increasing?
I don't think Bollywood events are increasing. Bollywood events have always been a part and parcel.
Okay.
So like when we go back and a lot of times when people say, oh, he stays over there. See, we are out of that charm now. We've seen a lot of Bollywood. People, when they see or find or whatever, it's still going to be a little bit of a thing, but then again, not that hyped. They're probably people. So Bollywood definitely adds on that glamour. But then it's not the thing that probably people are just going to be stuck onto it. It has to be a combination. Today, when a singer is singing as well, so it's they've got a comedian as well, they've got an actor who does a showstopper, whatever. So it has to be a bespoke version. Look at it how it would start for anybody. There's certain things. Some people are just very fresh, and people start liking them. That's where you make your most money. So what's his name? AP Dillon. He came his first event over here.
Yeah.
He charged only $50,000.
That's it.
And now he charges $1.5 million, $2 million. And now I'm talking about 2 years, 3 years now. So he was fresh. He was hot. At that point, that person might have made it. It was a sold out event.
Wow.
So today, if I call, like you saw when Diljit
What if you
Dosanjh
called
went over here?
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi?
okay.
You saw that, right?
I seen.
Sold out.
Mm.
Everything sold out. So I called
How
him.
much does it charge?
I don't want to talk about the numbers.
Okay.
In 2016, I called him. The first event in Dubai was done by me, Diljit. Then he was not very well known. So I had to pay from my pocket. But that's where probably, you need to understand the value of.
I had gone for this event of Atif Aslam in the Coca-Cola Arena. And it was jam-packed.
Because it is something probably people still want to be a part of it. Things that probably are selling, that comes with your research, is the emotion. Any event has to be laced with an emotion. Your emotion is about your driving force for people to come and to see that event.
Look at the in the Etihad Arena, I had gone for this event of Bryan Adams. It was jam-packed.
Yes.
There's no place to stand.
It's I've been to not many live events if I'm not doing it or if I'm not a part of an event, but I have been to 2, actually 3. One was Scorpions, and the 2 other ones were Guns N' Roses. So like it is my emotion, and I will not miss it that's how people work. That's what drive people.
And there's an audience for these type of events.
Oh, 100%.
And how does the tickets? So do you guys have your own events that you all do, or is it that you all pick up the events of these celebrities? Because many times, if you're going to do your own event, you have to pay the celebrity upfront, right?
It is a part and part.
Okay.
Part and part.
It's a partnership type.
It's a part and part. At times we are doing our events and we're calling the celeb.
Okay.
Like I did Diljit Dosanjh. I did for my community. I did the Gurdas Man. Then when we were talking to you, we brought in a lot of artists from India and from Pakistan, from Punjabi sector.
But that time you'll have a lot of pressure on selling the tickets, right?
We have the pressure of selling the tickets, but then again, that is covered by sponsors. That is covered by the fact if you have good sponsors, and if you know that probably that's their TG, that's their target audience, and they will spend money, and that money will fund your event. And then there are particularly these days artists as well. They know that they have to be seen. So they come in with a combination of part cash, and then they will become a partner in that on a kind of a profit sharing for that particular event. And that happens, because if the artist is going to take, earlier it used to be like I will have 37 business class tickets, I'll have 5 first class tickets and everything else. It's coming down. It's coming down.
So share me one experience of one successful event that you have done, which you had planned it in a manner, but some event went over your expectation.
Over expectation, positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, I think I had done my first community event because I was more into that, where I was trying to get the community together. I had called in Gurdas Manji, who's a very famous artist and known to everybody. So I did that show in Jumeirah Golf course.
Okay.
We had that, and this is the first time there's a Punjabi event happening over there.
Okay. So
we had a cluster that we created. We created a kind of an area for VVIPs and everything else. Sold out.
How many people?
There was around 1,500 people. Which was
1,500.
But that was like a kind of a round table, creme de la creme. And then I created a kind of a partition because I wanted everybody to be a part of this. So inclusivity. And I'm talking about 2013, 2014 or something. And I got in 5,500 labor people to come over there because they cannot pay the tickets. We got them on the buses. They enjoyed that. But then again, that was the open area that was there behind. So we had a good 6,000-7,000 people. And that was like... my expectations were that probably maybe people are not going to know about it. It was completely jam-packed.
So anytime that you have, in your experience, have thought this is one celebrity that I'll call him and this event will be sold off and it did not even turn out good. Did you have any disaster like this?
The first event with Diljit...
where your experience did not really, just faded away.
Diljit was the first event that probably I thought that it would have had everybody do. But the thing is probably he was growing at that point. But after that, he
Yeah.
For you?
After that, is
So that part was something probably we missed. But then again, you need to know if there's a setback, you have got the stability that you can take it.
so you lost money there.
I lost money, but then again, it doesn't matter because we already our expectations were in check. Not everything that you do has to win you something. It also gets you into a point where you get experiences. So if I've lost money, I experienced that this is not working and what we need to do next.
So, I mean, what I'm picking up from this is that, I mean, any entrepreneur should not actually try to create its own event because that's where the most of the money and the risk stands.
Initially, no.
I mean, so we start with something, a combination of marketing, then management, production, and then maybe having your own IP of events. I think only when you grow and get sustained,
You
like
have
the
your
way.
own IP. That's the road to go. You know how much Jitex is now worth,
Hmm.
how much it can be sold, and how much it started with. My runs, like I've got the biggest women's running event. She runs. That's my IP. I'm talking sports is huge with me.
Sports is huge with you.
Yeah, so I did that. It's the biggest now. If I want to probably have something as a collaboration, if I want to sell, so that's something that I would gain out of it, apart from what is.
So which is your IP? Which is the she runs?
She runs. It's the Dubai Women's Run. It's the biggest run that probably has. We also got a world record done, which the most women running last year.
Look at the Gulf food.
Sorry?
Look at the Gulf
Gulf
food.
food.
It's a
Look at
massive.
that probably
call.
Shahzad is completely jammed. Look at that metro does not have space. So these are things, if you want to probably look at an IP that has been created and you are making sure that each year you're raising the bar, people are getting bigger, the community is getting bigger, community is getting bigger, and it's a win-win. If anybody who's participating, they get the business. If anybody is visiting, they get to know more products. And if anybody who's exhibiting, like who's doing the organizing part, they benefit because the stalls are getting bigger. People who they want to be, and they say, sorry, we closed out. They're making bigger halls now. They're taking it to the expo area next year. So it's all in a positive zone. When you create something, that's the vision.
So trade shows, events in trade shows are really massively growing in this region. Yeah.
It has always been. If you saw that probably when COVID was out, the first event that happened over here was Jitex. We were the first event in the region, maybe globally as well, on that level where everybody, we were like, and we were touchless activations and everything else, but we were brave enough, and Dubai led the way. Exhibitions for any country is important because that's the gateway for the world.
So when you create an IP for a particular event, how long does it take to break even? Because I'm sure the first 2-3 years would be losses, or I'm sure that you'll have to go with a very strong heart to create an IP.
I think if you have got the knowledge, like She Runs is a 12th edition, Cancer Run is a
12th edition.
Yeah, Cancer Run is a 3rd edition. So Cancer Run is already successful because we know what's happening. So IPs also will be driven by the fact what sector, how, if it is in the right place at the right time. You get sponsors, you're cash rich year one. But if you're not getting sponsors, yes, I think the second year you get yourself stable. Third year is profit.
So why I'm asking you this question is because, you know, our common friend, Daru Sodhi, who, has his own IP of Gladiator Summit. And this time it was a 3rd edition. And he came on the stage and he says he doesn't make money out of it. Even though he, invites almost, this time, more than about 3,000 people were there the previous year. Right? I was there
I was there as well.
Yeah, I was there. And
I was there.
I had the media
30 minutes, but then again, I came because he's
a
but I had my quite a few meetings in Abu Dhabi, and I came only to see what he does for the first time. So
he had given me the media pass, and then I was there, and he had done a couple of interviews.
He's doing certain things that is going to make. He's been consistent. The 3rd year Gladiator, like coming up with
a beautiful event,
and it's about spreading that kind of positivity, you know. And then again, for being positive, you've been like given envelopes of money as well. So
my question is that how does one gauge that even after so much of massive crowd, we still don't make money? Where do we cut the cost in so that at least the event is at least on a break even, or at least
he's done the right thing. One, he's got a concept which not everybody is just looking at it because not everybody does that. Correct?
There's a Gladiator helmet.
So that's one. 2, if you look at it, his sponsors. He's been very smart about it. So his sponsors are there for him to be supported.
To back him up, yeah.
That's there. He's got it covered. And it's not that exorbitant. The kind of speakers that he's bringing as well, they want to be a part of this as well. So he created a wand. So his costs have come down big time.
Considering that Dubai sometimes, work brings a lot of stress in your life, Do you think the stand-up comedy events work in this region?
It is always already working actually, because people want to get a little bit of a break. And stand-up comedy, if you see that the neighborhood stand-up comedies have come, comedians have come, comedy festivals, small clubs, small pubs, they've started doing that as well. And it's a thing that probably people have realized as well. Man, come on, a lot of stress, just have a couple of hours of just a bit of a laugh. So yeah, it is definitely going to do well. But again, depends on what target audience you're serving, to what audience requires to probably listen to who. That it's all going to be a combination of that.
No, because I was thinking that, like I say, because when you again referred back to the community, and, one of my friend, he was trying to build a community around the stand-up comedians, and he was saying that, I'm planning to build an events company that I only host stand-up comedian across this region, and getting the performers, as well as making sure that the community is built around that, people who want to come and sometimes, hang around and just laugh, and because entertainment is a very important aspect of your life to be getting a healthy or well-being life.
Right. So
So-
what happened?
No, I just wanted to insight what that's one of the reason I asked you.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing, right?
Beautiful thing. And he needs to probably do some things. One, contractually, he needs to probably look at the fresher breed. He needs to look at that is going to be not that pocket heavy. Once he does that, the contractual part, he needs to probably have a little bit of a backing of them not charging him and he not paying them for a certain period. So what happens is, if you go to a restaurant that's opened up new, restaurant in a mall, say like Dubai Mall, wherever, nobody knows about it, right? So people, their staff is outside with 5-6 trays, tasters. Have a taste, please. This is something. Once you taste, oh, this is good. Next time you pay for it.
Correct.
So get him to have 20, 30, 40 upcoming comedians, local, outside, whatever. Bring them over here and get a contract with the monthly contracts with restaurants. With the and tell them we're not charging anything. Let them be there. Let them be seen. Once people get used to it, then take them away. Get the money.
So what about corporate events? How are they placed in this region?
Huge. Corporate events are huge.
Okay.
Again, things have changed to a part where probably now corporate events are not that loud. They become very sophisticated. Even the entertainment that requires to be has to match. If I'm doing a property launch, it has to match with the kind of dynamics of that property or that kind of a project that has got those facilities. So we need to create that kind of a thing. It's a waterfront. So we had the drummers, the water is coming, and then suddenly there's a splash of water on the screens. It's a 3D mapped version. All these things have to be carved,
Then only I think it looks more attractive, yeah?
and depends on the budgets as well.
Yeah. So what about the last segment would be like, I think, I'm sure this region is about marriage destinations. So do you feel there are a lot of marriages happening here in this region?
Very little marriages happening here.
Very little.
Yeah.
Even though when everything actually is shown that, that there's a lot of Dubai marriages happening, destination marriage.
Go to Thailand.
I'm from Goa.
Yeah. So places where you will find that they've become marriage destinations. Dubai is not doing too much for that. And again, marriages happen, but then again, these are pockets and clusters. During the times of October, November, December, we're already having so many events. So we get venues and everything else becomes exorbitant. Then the kind of flair, when you talk about having an event, like in Goa or in Thailand, you got estates, you got things where probably the whole family of 300 people, they're staying over there. It becomes like a family kind of a thing. Over here, it is a little difficult to have those kind of pockets available.
So it means because of the cost factor, yeah?
Cost factor and as well, not available.
So considering so that you have a company in India as well as in UAE, so if a couple comes to you and says that, what will be the cost comparison between hosting an event, a marriage event in Goa and hosting a marriage event in Dubai?
It all depends.
The minimum.
If you want to probably do a marriage event in Goa, you can be around 30 to 40 lakhs, example, right? And if you want to probably have something over here, you need to be around 400 to 500,000 dirhams, like not that exorbitant.
Okay.
So again, it's a comparison that you can't draw and the experience that you don't draw. But then again, I was in this place, the hotel.
We are talking about 500,000 dirhams. We are talking about 1.2 crore.
That's what I'm saying. So there's no comparison because
4 times.
But then again, it's a stamping of that it is an international thing and everything. And Dubai is very aggressive on costs. But then again, you still need to be basic that you need to work on. So if you need to probably have a venue taken, your airplane tickets, all of this.
So local destination, because in the other visa ads and all, right?
Visa ads, the stay, that probably how many days you're doing, your transportation, all of this is becoming like, it becomes like a complete package that you have to look in. So I'm talking this, but then again, there's huge costs that have been spent, and I'm talking about big fat Indian weddings happening over here. But like I said, not enough for us to look at ourselves as a wedding destination.
So in your experience, did you come across any challenges where you have placed an event and the celebrity has not come, or maybe he's giving some reasons, or maybe he's sick for any particular reason? Then what really happens from the compensation standpoint? I wanted some little light on that area, on the liability and on the...
I have not been in that. I've never had that, but I know people and friends that probably have had. So there's a insurance that happens for that.
Okay.
So insurances for events like this has to happen.
Hmm.
And then the kind of crowd feedback and the kind of thing that has to be managed to a point where probably you need to probably look at it, that what is the kind of thing that you're presenting to them, or what is the reason that you're presenting, and what is the kind of feedback or compensation that you're giving to them. It's not money. They wasted their time. They put the money out. If you're giving them the
So
money,
do you have a backup plan or something like
you
that?
need to probably look at it that probably we are providing you this plus this, or we are providing you this, and there's an event happening on this.
So you can again come free of cost.
So we give you on that kind of a thing. And then governments have to support you on this as well, because at times it's a criminal case that you're not covering up, and you're not actually just putting out this. It's people's money.
It's people's money, it's people's times. People have removed, I mean, with their emotions they have come.
If you did not know that the SLA is not going to come, you should have not taken the money, or you should have actually just probably canceled the event. That's all.
I want the last part of this is that with so much of evolution in technology, with evolution of course, the AI is just again one more thing that is just added to the speed of the work only. But the question is that will live events die, or would they grow from year more?
No way. Live events won't die.
Okay.
And it'll grow much, much, much more.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
what's the reason?
okay. The reason is two things. Like food that we eat, you can't just probably have capsules instead of your food. You can't have just probably digital food. Live experiences are not going to die. There's things that probably what technology has done. It's made the whole world to come down to a point where we all are very lonely. We are very isolated. Events like this, live events, people come together. And that's the kind of high that they get, is because in the crowd and everything else. And it's the kind of experience that you don't get. Like we are all engrossed in our mobile phones. We're all engrossed in our gaming and whatever. Live events still has got the charm, and it's going to grow.
Do you think that in today's world, sir, that if someone wants to build a brand in the event space, like rather than I contacting on a scalability base, yeah, can I offer packages that actually say that, okay, a 10,000 or 20,000 package, people could buy it online? Do you think the scope for those type of startups?
People have done that, but is the kind of
Just to manage scalability.
longevity of that scalability for sure. You can go with that, but then again, you need to also address if you're talking about your project, or if you're talking about a events company, or a company that probably needs to probably give their this thing. That brings in challenges, and that also brings in your this thing. People tend to see that 10,000 dirhams, I'm giving you something, right? What you're not giving, they'll expect that.
No, I'm just expecting like 10 is base. I'm saying 20, 30 or whatever
I
it is.
understand. But then again, when you talk about a silver package or a gold package or a
Correct.
platinum package, still there will be things people will have expectations. Now, when that fails, then you are looking at yourself that you try to compensate. And that's where probably your part and parcel. Don't go into packages from get-go. First, build your credibility. When somebody knows what you're delivering, when you are having your expectations in check with the client, then you tell them, you are paying me 12,000. I'm going to package this for 10,000 for you. And I've done that many a time.
Okay.
I'll give this for 10,000, but give me that all this year, 2-year contract that you will work with me. I'm saving you, right? That works.
So it means always events management is going to be more personalized. We cannot be commoditized.
It cannot, because every event is not the same. Every requirement is not the same. Every client is not the same. Every KPI is not the same. It's like you have to create a bespoke version. If there's things that probably it's packaged or it's on the shelf, like you go put the coin and get your Pepsi.
Correct.
No, it's not the same thing. Things happen like smaller events like the birthday parties for children and everything. That's a standard. You know, you'll have a backdrop, you'll have balloons, you'll have a lady who will come and everything. These kind of things. But then again, that's also got so much cluttered. What scalability on that? I have no idea. And again, it's
The profit margins will be shrinking there.
also the roti concept works. Return of time invested.
So what is the best way where someone wants to maximize his ROI on a capital? What is the lean module that he should start? Like if at a very young age, like the start of his business.
You don't need to have anybody.
So if I have 50,000 dirhams, say I come with 50,000 dirhams, what's that start point I should do right now?
Basic. Get yourself into research mode. Have your website, which again can be done by AI. Basic. All right. Have your social channels up and running. Get into collaboration. Be seen. Do small work. That becomes your experience. Don't go completely ballistic about it. So small things that probably begin with, and master that one trait that you're giving out. That one trait would mean that you're stabilizing. Your 50,000, when it starts to come down to 20, you need to be at least to a point that probably you're now going to make the next 2,000. It goes back 22, 24, 25, 30, 35. But it comes down, then you are on the wrong track. Any money is not to be spent. Money has to be looked upon that probably when I need to invest, what is it getting back for me? And what is it expanding on my experience? What you're investing is on you. Your experience, your intelligence, your research, your due diligence, all of this would work in your favor because 50,000 can become 500,000.
Correct.
But the fact is you need to know how to probably have that utilized. But then again, jumping in, and people get lucky as well. Somebody's networking is so good. Somebody's knowledgeable for a small thing that probably is done. And they've been given, oh, you take this event of launch because I know you, you're my friend, whatever, it's networking. But then again, when you don't do it, or if you do it somehow, and you are actually just probably still not in grip of it, the second event you'll fall. You need to be taking a step-by-step approach. Your base structure has to be strong.
So would you advise as a founder, as a young founder, that should I go and first create a community on my social platforms to brand myself as an events founder? Would that really work?
No, I would do something that probably I did as well.
Okay.
Unknowingly, but then again, if somebody wants to probably get into any of the sides of events, whether it's live event or whatever, you need to go and you need to work for somebody.
As an intern
or paid or however, that experience is going to be your catalyst. That's something that's going to make you happen. You know, the grip is there. So don't jump into the water when you don't even know how to.
I agree with you 100% that if you work as an intern, I mean, there are so much of nuances of the business and the traits of the business that you understand from someone who's built it than someone who's just imagining to build it. My last question would be that what's your advice to young founders that actually want to enter this industry, and what sort of heart they should actually come up with, stating that, and how they should mitigate their risk and uncertainties that they have? What's your last advice to the young guys who are actually trying to come in this industry and look up to you?
It's very much mental. It's very much mental stability. It's also to do with your whatever that you're doing. You need to be focused on that. You need to have consistency. I'm repeating this because it might sound boring. It might sound that probably somebody that probably is just talking words. I've lived it.
Boring is great, sir.
I've lived it. So like if you fall, don't give up. Get up, consistency. Try again, because if you're going to say like 3 times later, oh no, this is not for me, everything can be happening based on your mental strength. And I don't think that probably mental strength being there and you're falling with your experiences and you're learning, you have to learn from that. You can't succeed, I'll give it in writing.
So to wrap up this, I think the most important takeaway is that you need to keep your mindset stable. So even if you're failing, you need to go and stand up again, go and be consistent on the same plan.
Very important. And then again, I know that comfort zone brings everybody to their knees, and that's how people are working right now. Artificial intelligence is to be worked on. Not that probably it works for you. It works for you. You're not working for them. Artificial intelligence can only be better if human intelligence is there. So lose your human intelligence, don't let it go.
Wow, what a beautiful end to this, that the human intelligence is such an important aspect about especially something that's related to the live events, and that's where we are actually going, and touching point is the personal affection of the live events. So thank you very much, sir, for being on the show. I'm sure that this is an enlightenment for many of our community members who are following this channel and who are trying to build businesses. And for this episode was especially for someone who wants to enter or who's trying to build a career in the event space and who looks for the event industry as one of the industry that they want to actually move forward in, because they don't want to follow the traditional modules of which were there. And like if you see in your case, the education that you did has no relation to the life that you're living.
Practical
I mean,
knowledge is the best knowledge.
yeah, I think, and working as an intern is a great start, so that before you start building a business. So thank you very much, sir. It was lovely meeting you, and my apologies that you had to come all the way far.
No. I committed, and that's one thing that probably I keep very safe with me. If you're committed, you have to do it.
Thank you
That's
once
important.
again.
And just to sum it up, thank you for having me. Knowledge becomes bigger by sharing. And at this point, when I see that probably I can add on to something, maybe I've got my 2 cents, or even if it's not valid for anyone. But then again, I always try to see that I speak about experiences if anybody can gauge out of it. On your beginning and your initiative, whatever that you're doing,
So you like the Plan My Firm?
it has got a plan, and I've got a plan B.
So how do you like the place?
No, very good. It's amazing, and I wish you all the luck, all the best that it's going to grow with the kind of intent that you have with the people to learn. This is a very important aspect that I feel, and just to probably have your initial start and everything else, I would be more than happy to have 5 people to be given a masterclass of 1 hour if they require for my sector.
Wow, very good. I think this is a
That's
great.
it, and I'm doing it for you.
Great. I think this is something which I think would be a great takeaway from this, that if anyone wants to join as an intern, I mean, Sir's company is always available for just maybe some masterclass and maybe 3 months, 2 months, and they could just go and gain the experience that they're
Masterclass is going to be for 1 hour.
1 hour. Oh, it's fine.
Internship is separate.
Yeah, even if they want,
I
they
have a
can.
1 hour session capsule that I can train, guide, mentally aligned,
Yeah.
and whatever I can do.
And there are literally a lot of entrepreneurs here. There's almost like in our community, we have 100 entrepreneurs that are building companies every day. They're coming from Bangalore, different parts of the world, in Philippines, Sri Lanka, India, and everyone is trying to build the business of the new era. And I think that's where I find that your mentorship will really make a big difference.
I'm always available. Again, like I said, it might not be effective or whatever. I've got my 2 cents. I can always talk about that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.